Property rights are clean water rights. Allow me to explain. If people buy property along a river, you have a right to use your land in the state in which it was purchased. That includes access to water sources. If you went ahead and started mining your land and began dumping tailings and waste chemical in the river, then you would be directly altering the quality of water and land that everyone downstream owns. You have infringed on their property rights. Now there are certain assumed limitations to this, such as using some of the water yourself and removing fish for consumption. But once you start altering the state of the river, you are infringing on the property rights of everyone downstream. Now, why would someone like me bring up river pollution in the context of property rights? Because this is a far better solution to the issue of large-scale pollution and green policies than bloated government regulation. If you and everyone affected by a major polluter's activities automatically had standing to take legal action against a polluter, you could immediately put a stop to their activities with a cease and desist, receiving injunctive relief, while the ramifications of their actions are battled out in court. Meanwhile, in a top-down civilization, you pass a green law, which feeds into a bureaucracy, which is enforced by 1,000 regulations with 1,000 different interpretations. They force small businesses to jump through 1,000 hoops, causing their operating expenses to skyrocket and hurting the economy and people's ability to make a living. The enforcers and bureaucrats make wink and nod deals with the big polluting companies that are the real problem, or they haphazardly enforce rules, or the rules themselves only address part of the problem. No matter how you slice it, we rarely see legislative regulations improve the ecology of an area quickly or efficiently. Palms get greased at the legislative level, the agency level, the enforcement level, and eventually at the judicial level, and that is if anything even reaches prosecution. Compare that to the clean solution of a free system. You polluted my land and water. Stop it, or I will take you to court. This also accounts for issues of scale. If there is only a small infringement on people downstream, then the company may offer compensation in exchange for continuing to operate their business. But if the harm becomes too great, individuals or groups of owners can take action that the megacorporations have no way to stop. But they can't do that right now because we do not properly recognize the absolute nature of property ownership, and we play favorites with legal standing. Only government, large public figures, huge groups, or megacorporations really have any legal standing. Government obviously has a vested interest in going the bureaucratic enforcement route. So what does it care about violations of property? Huge groups are very hard to get together. Just look at how hard it is to gather people for a class action lawsuit today. And megacorporations aren't going to fight each other unless it is part of a palace intrigue political game. None of those people have the environment or individual's best interest in mind, let alone at heart. When it comes to bureaucratic green regulation, all you have to do is corrupt or pay off one person in the enforcement chain and the problem goes away. But authoritarians and fans of big government don't want a solution to pollution that relies on individual rights, because it isn't the environment or people's health that they are concerned about. All they really want is increased government control and power, and using the environment as a stalking horse is an excellent way to get people used to Big Brother government telling them what to do. Remember, the vast majority of green regulation doesn't actually achieve the stated goals of that regulation. Wind farms and solar energy are not actually carbon neutral or negative. The resource extraction, production, and disposal of the batteries and other components are far more destructive to the environment than coal power. And that is beside the point that if they really cared about the environment, they would champion nuclear power. Carbon credits don't help the climate, they help politicians and megacorporations' pocketbooks. Because who can afford to buy those credits? It's not the small-time manufacturer, it's the megacorporation. Who can pay off the regulators or hire lawyers to find pathways through the regulations? Again, The megacorporations. And who can hide their pollution in plain sight while spitting out press releases about how green they are because they pass government and NGO checks with flying colors? Again, the megacorporations. And as I discussed in my megacorporations video, these companies are really nothing more than government sock puppets used to avoid limits to government power so they can take away your rights, money, and independence. Property rights have become a shell of their original intent. Your ability to control your own land and prosecute those who encroach on it has been whittled away over the years by the public good, government regulations, and favoritism. You don't even truly own your land anymore. If you don't pay your property taxes, the government takes away your land. That turns ownership into rental. Don't let the idea of a healthy environment confuse you. A vibrant, healthy environment is a good thing, and it is good for you. Authoritarians have managed to gaslight people into thinking that loving nature requires you to sign away your rights and impose socialism. But socialism has never helped the environment. Everywhere where socialism ruled more than a few seaside villages, it has brought ecological ruin and mass starvation. Only the powerful economy of a free market can afford to go green, and only the powerful property rights of a free society can nip pollution in the bud. It really makes you wonder if hazardous chemical storage would become safer if companies were liable to all those people in Ohio individually, rather than it simply being written off as a disaster by the government with zero real-world accountability. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.